What is up, fellow bench warmers? Welcome to your daily fantasy quickie. What's up, guys? It's another day, another quickie for you guys. And today there were just a few games. I think 5 games in all, in total. But there are some news. The biggest one, I guess. Oh, by the way, my name is JJT, and of course with Commish. Commish, the biggest news for today: LeBron James out on COVID protocols. So that's 10 days at the minimum.
10 days or 2 negative tests, I think. We don't know. I guess we don't know if he has symptoms or not. But he's the king, so maybe COVID will be because Embiid missed 3 weeks, I think, more or less.
But because he had major symptoms.
Yes. So, the good news for LeBron owners is that the Lakers have only 2 games this week. So after today, they only have 1 more. Then next week, I think they only have 3 games. So if in case it's just 10 days, you might only miss 4 games. I mean 5, 2, including today, for LeBron. So let's see if he can come back in those 10 days.
And we'll also see how the Lakers adapt. Although for most of the season, LeBron hasn't really played that many games with the Lakers, right? So
yes,
who benefits here? Does Talen Horton-Tucker benefit here, or is it Malik Monk or anybody else without LeBron? Or it's just Russell Westbrook and Anthony Davis?
If you benefit, of course, all of those guys you mentioned, I think will benefit. But if it's of course, there's no Westbrook or AD anymore in your waivers. Talen Horton-Tucker was terrible today. Again, 16 minutes without LeBron, but he was in foul trouble and he had some injury, a little leg issue. I don't know if it's anything, but assuming it's not anything, I guess if you're in a deeper league, you could try. 16, 14, I'm not that interested even if LeBron is out. Maybe 16 team, you can try. Maybe he gets his mojo back. But Malik Monk, I think in 14 team leagues, he could be a short-term streamer. But it's tough to stream these guys. As I said, there's only 1 more game for the Lakers this week.
Yeah.
So I guess I'd rather pass. Only 1 game, not enough.
Or maybe let's see the other buy players we have in this list, and maybe you'll have one that would be interesting for you. Other news: Jalen Suggs, not as bad as we thought it would be. I don't think the thumb required surgery, right?
Yes,
and that would lessen his time off the court or recovery time.
Yes,
probably around 4 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks, maybe.
I'm just the one who's speculating. Dr. Go is just the one who speculated there. They said they will reevaluate every 2 weeks. So I don't think that in 2 weeks' time the bones, because there's a fracture. So basically what I understand from reading it is that they feel like the bone will heal by itself. So in that case, it's a matter of waiting time, right? Because you're just waiting for the bone to, I guess, get back and heal. I don't think that's 2 weeks. So that's why I went with 4 weeks, because they said every 2 weeks they will evaluate every 2 weeks. So I think maybe
I think go to 4 weeks to maybe 6 weeks, depending on how the recovery, how fast he recovers from this.
You can visit my clinic anytime. I can diagnose you guys.
Yes, the power of the internet, maybe.
Yeah.
Devin Booker, another player who got injured, unfortunately, during the game. He scored 10 points today. but he had a hamstring injury. He stayed on the bench, so at least there's that. But yeah, and they won. So I think that's also good, at least for the Suns. But yeah, hamstring, like we said, is very tricky. We
Mm-hmm.
still don't know the extent of the injury.
Um,
Hopefully, not too bad.
he does have history of hamstring injuries in his career. That has been the only one injury I can remember that Devin Booker has. So, very least for me, I think this week he might miss out a couple of games. They have a rematch versus the Warriors. I'm not sure if Sunday or Saturday. I'm not sure, but they have a rematch again. He might want to come back to play that game, but I doubt it. I doubt it. I doubt we'll see him this week. That's a hamstring injury. That's
Yeah,
something else.
and
Yeah,
the Suns are rolling, so I don't think they'll have that urgency to bring him
yes,
to
yes,
to play him.
they'll be smart, right?
Yeah, they won't force him. I mean, look at the Aiton, right? Aiton missed
Yeah,
how many weeks because of an injury. So yeah, most likely they'll really ease Booker into the lineup. So yeah, those are the news. Now speaking of the Warriors and the Suns, let me get into another Steph Curry rant today. Really bad game. I think the worst for the season. His
yeah.
worst game of the season. His shots were just off. I mean, I watched some parts of the game. You could see it when he released the ball. It's not really as fluid as he used to. Yeah, bad game today, and it's just annoying. Like I wondered this morning after seeing the stat line of Steph. I know Steph currently is number one, right? In fantasy, but I think Jokic would still clearly be your number one guy when it's all said and done because of the peace of mind you'll have.
Mm, are you saying who I will choose going forward if I have a choice right now?
Yeah, after seeing so clearly before the season, Jokic was number one, right?
Yeah.
And Steph has been great this season. I mean, so far he's been really good. Uh, so now at this point, if you were to redraft again, would you still go with Jokic or would you stick with Steph?
Mm, it's close, but I will pick Jokic not because I think Jokic will be number one by the end of the season. Again, I'm partial to centers, so that's the only reason I will choose Jokic. Plus the fact that it's easier to build around Jokic. I think he really doesn't have a lot of holes in his game,
Yeah.
unlike Steph. But the thing that Steph is doing right now, I think, is sustainable. I would not say Jokic will be number one by the end of the season. I really think it's Steph. Steph will be number one by the end of the season. Yeah, I know. I mean, he has games like these, but the good games are really good. So he's gonna be number one. I'm not saying you
And
should
that's
like to own
annoying
him.
for me because sometimes it comes at the wrong time, right? Just games like
Maybe,
these.
yeah,
Last time it came at the Judgment Day when
yeah.
there were some teams wherein I really needed him to at least produce well, and if he didn't. This time, well, it's still early in the week, but of course, if he is your top guy, you would want him to at least start off strong and easier to adjust later on than get fall behind early.
The thing with Steph this year, as we said, is that the other stats usually is there. The assists has come back. Today, if you watch it, they were trapping him. They were trapping him like crazy. And Mikal Bridges was the main guy guarding him, and that was tough. Mikal was long. He was really disruptive, and he was good. Mikal was really good. The stat line will not show it. The stat line will be
Yeah.
7 points, 1 out of 4, and then what are you doing, Mikal? But he was good today, and he was the MVP of this game for the Suns. And I guess that was one of the reasons why Steph. That is also one of the reasons why I think Steph has games like these, because teams are, and Steve Kerr acknowledged it after the game. Teams are strapping him like crazy, and he said, "Okay." Steve said, "Do it again to us next time. When we have Clay and we have the other shooters, you'll not be able to do that as much." So I guess it's just a little adjustment.
Well, it's hard. It's hard to say that as well. Jordan Poole had a great game today.
Yeah, and it's because of Steph. But I guess it's not enough though. I mean, they're against a very elite team, so maybe they needed some other guy to step up. Because Wiggins was also injured, by the way. He played through it. He played through the back thing.
Yeah.
But I would not be surprised if he misses some games going forward, because even during the breaks, he was riding the bike, trying to get his back, warm, so that it will not be too cold when he's out of the game.
Yeah.
He's not 100%.
Yeah, and like you said, so you'll still pick Jokic.
I'll still pick Jokic. I think you would still pick Jokic.
Yeah. Because there's just this peace of mind with Jokic. When you pick Jokic, you just slot him in your spot. He won't hurt you at any stats.
Yeah, and I'll pick Jokic because the 2-game week is done with the Nuggets. So I'll pick Jokic. That hurt. Although seeing Jokic partying with his brother in Miami makes me a little nervous. I don't know what these players are thinking. I mean, especially hearing COVID here, COVID there. Whatever. I just really pray that,
But it's different. It's already different in the US, I think. Much of the places there have really been at a normal state already. And the good thing is, they just play Miami once or twice?
Who?
Denver.
Twice. They're done. They're done with,
They have another one, right?
Only time. So maybe that's why. No more. This is the last.
All right.
It's a West-East matchup, so it's only one time they'll visit.
So then at least there's that's done. That's done there. So
good thing there's no Vegas team. That
but
maybe that's
yet.
why
None yet, right? And there have been lots of clamor for a Vegas team because the NHL has one, the NFL has one, and it's maybe time for the NBA to have one as well.
Yeah.
All right. Other worry,
MLB might actually will have one also soon.
Yeah. So I don't think it's I think it's a possibility that the NBA would eventually have one as well. Anyway, let's talk about other worry players. Tyrese Haliburton had another bad shooting game. I just think he can't find his rhythm at this point.
In fairness to Tyrese, the whole team sucked in the second half. But he has been 23% since Gentry's took over, averaging 7 points, 4 rebounds, I think, and 6 assists and 2 steals. Those are the ones that are the saving grace. But the scoring, the shooting, they're really bad. So I think this is a good buy low. I don't know if you guys believe in him, but I believe in Haliburton. I think he's a good player. Maybe it's just the system, little, and the shots are not falling. And as a point guard, 14% usage rate. Those are Robert Williams levels.
They don't really rely on him to score. That's the thing. They don't really rely on him to score or take over games because they have Hield, they have Fox. I think they really rely on him on facilitating. It's just that when he takes he was 2 out of 10 today, I think.
Yes, 2 out of 10.
And if he takes just 10 shots, you would only hope that he makes at least 4 or 5, 4 at least, and hopefully 5, right? And I think the problem as well is that he's shooting threes. He's shooting a lot of threes
because he's basically a spot-up shooter right now. That's what happened to him right now. Bring down the ball.
I just think there's too much offensive power. Well, not really power, but there's too much offensively, how do you call this? Inclined players. Like they have Hield, they have Fox, right? And they have
Barnes.
Holmes. They had Barnes, although Barnes has been out. But these players, Hield, Fox, need to score. And they're more inclined to scoring than doing other things. And you can't have everyone scoring. And Haliburton has the tools to do the other things, facilitate, defend.
But he
Yeah.
But he was good. But he was good for before this bad stretch. So there is.
Well, if you're shooting threes, I think there would be a stretch where you won't be as good.
Maybe. That's one. But I think we talked about him in I think the first game of Gen 3, and I said that he was wide open for 3-pointers, but he was passing the ball to his teammates. So maybe it's also up to Haliburton himself. He has to find, be more aggressive. You can't just let the game come to you and just follow the system and everything. If the shot is there, you have to take it. You have to really find your shot. You're struggling, then go find your shot. That's what I think it boils down to. Not just Alvin Gentry's system. He has to, in himself, really go and try to look for his offense, because clearly him not scoring or not being aggressive doesn't work, because they've been terrible. They've been losing, right?
Yeah. You mentioned that the guy is a buy low. There's a buy low opportunity for Haliburton. Any players you have in mind that we can sell?
Actually, I'm thinking of maybe I can get Buddy Hield. Use Buddy Hield to get Haliburton. So that's one player. I will not mention Jordan Poole anymore, because as I wrote, I don't think anybody will fall for a sell high over Jordan Poole. I mean, Klay Thompson is all over social media, so there's no freaking way that somebody will agree for a sell high with Poole. So maybe try somebody else. Try somebody else.
Isaiah Stewart, who played
yeah, but I like Stewart. It's one of my buy low.
Still?
So this is buy low and buy low. Yeah. I am a believer in Stewart, not because of his talent level, but more of his the opportunity. I mean, when he was out, who was there? Luka Garza and Trey Lyles.
Yeah, there's really not much there.
There's not much. There's no competition. So maybe not Stewart. If Norm Powell was not injured, I could use Norm Powell maybe. Who else? Because Tyler
Garland. Is Tyrese Haliburton an upgrade from maybe a Garland?
You know how much I love Garland. I really love Garland. But for me, no. For me, this year they're close. I think they're close. I would actually maybe in some builds prefer Garland over Haliburton. So
Lonzo or Haliburton? At this point,
I may go Lonzo. At this point, I may go Lonzo. They're very similar. They're very similar, and I think Lonzo is more consistent. That's funny to say, given he has a lot of bad games, but still more consistent.
Yeah, that's the reason why I asked about Lonzo, is because he's been pretty much the same as Haliburton this season. But they've had some bad games, and up and down games, I guess. But at least Chicago is a better team, and
I think the roles are set. I would use that. The Kings, the rotation is all over the place. I mean, look who's back. Meto's back. Later on, we'll see Bagley. We'll see this. We'll see that. We'll see Tristan Thompson. We'll see Alex Len. We'll see Davion Mitchell. I mean, everybody's all over the place. So I don't usually like teams like that, because it's so hard to depend on them, on the players there. You don't know what's happening. So that's why I prefer Lonzo. I know what Lonzo will do. Yeah, he might struggle with the shot, but I'm pretty sure, he's gonna be there. Who's he gonna play with? I know everything with Lonzo. So
would you rather go Tyrese or Mikal Bridges?
I'd rather go probably Tyrese. Right. Unless Booker is out for 2 months, then I'll go Mikal. So Mikal has a good chance here.
So baiting Mikal for a Tyrese is a good idea.
I think so. I mean, that's tough, because Mikal has been struggling. I mean, not struggling. He's a top 70 guy this year, but it doesn't seem like that, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't seem
Mikal
like that.
is just a weird player. Like, not many like him because of the consistency, I guess. But he's another polarizing fantasy player as well.
Do you own Mikal?
I think I have a couple or just one. maybe in the Roto League.
Okay, that's gold. If it's in the Roto League, that's
Yeah.
perfect.
So yeah, I just have him
I
there.
I want to talk about Mikal also. Actually, I think
Go.
if there's
Let's do it.
if there's a chance to pick up Mikal right now, now is the time. He's the top 70 guy this year. You might not notice it because we said the steals are a little down and everything, but the steals are still there. The efficiency is there. So I'm actually thinking, let's say, I don't know if this will fly, but let's say Josh Giddey. I've been thinking about it. I was thinking, you asked me, who can you get for Giddey? What can you get for Giddey? I'm thinking maybe if I switch Giddey to Mikal, maybe that the manager will agree, and if he agrees, I would like to do that because
That depends on the manager, actually.
yes.
Like
But
I
would you
said,
do that?
Mikal is a. If I was the Mikal owner,
Yes.
no.
I'm
But
the Giddey owner.
no, I wouldn't do that. But there, like I said, Mikal is a very polarizing fantasy player. Like, not a lot of managers like him just because he doesn't produce as much when it comes to the numbers, the counting stats, right? And it's not as consistent. He's gonna be hot at certain times. He's gonna be bad at certain times. But the reason why he's also good as a fantasy player because he doesn't hurt you in anything, and that's why he's a great for a Roto league or a Roto team. So, yeah, for me personally, I wouldn't. I'd still stick with Mikal, but I think there could be some managers who would, take that, especially if the build fits them, like maybe
Let's see.
for
Let's see.
assist.
My problem with Mikal right now is Booker's injury. Of course, his manager would also think that now Booker is out, Mikal
Yeah.
will score more. So maybe the timing is not right now. But
Yeah.
eventually that might be revisited. We talked about Haliburton and Mikal. That's a close one, but I would choose Haliburton, more of Haliburton, because the overall counting stats with Haliburton, the assists for one, the steals, Haliburton is stealing more than Mikal.
Yeah.
The assists, obviously, that's Haliburton over Mikal, and that's the hardest category to find. So based on only on those two, I would already choose Haliburton over Mikal. But maybe Tyler Hero, I'll choose Mikal. Of course, Jordan Poole.
Tyler Hero for Haliburton.
That one might be a good sell high for Hero to get
just wait
Haliburton.
for Hero to come back and play.
Wait for Hero to come back.
He's out. He's been out.
Yes.
All right. So other worry players, Robert Covington. This is something. That's why I listed him here. He is top 80, I think, right now.
Yeah, something like that. 80 something.
He's within the top 100, but you won't really feel. Same with Mikal, I guess. You won't really feel much of it because he's had some really bad games. A lot of bad games.
He's worse than Mikal though, because he can hurt you in some categories like field goal. Points, of course, he'll hurt you in points because he doesn't score. He doesn't assist. So there are categories he's weak at. Why is he top? People say, but he's top 80. So shut up.
Because
you don't know what you're saying. 1.0 steal, 1.0 block,
he defends.
and almost no turnovers and 1 point something threes. Yeah, he's top whatever, but it doesn't mean his top 90 should be, automatic hold. For me, if one steal, 4 steals and 4 blocks a week, let's say 4-game week, and 4 3-pointers. I mean, what will that do to your team? I don't know. Yes, those are just little things. You can say that no turnovers will help you. Yeah, but I don't really look at turnovers much if you're in head to head. That's very up and down. That's very up and down. So
Covington, is he still a hold for a 14 team?
For a 14 team, I'm still holding him. But 12 team, I already said before, if you want to drop him, drop him. But as we always say here in our show, drop him. Tell us who you would pick up, because it's not as simple as, okay, I'll drop Covington, and then maybe I'll get.
I think I dropped him in one league to activate.
Yeah, but don't tell you dropped him for Jeff Green.
No, I activated Tybull, but it's a 12-team league.
Yeah, that's okay. I mean, that means your team is strong. That Tybul, he's the worst player in your team. Then drop him. But if you're gonna add, Jeff Green is hot because MPJ is out, so I'm gonna pick up Jeff Green and drop Covington.
Oh no,
No.
I didn't drop him in a 12 team. I have one 10 team league, and I think that's where I dropped it. But yeah,
Oh
12
well,
team.
10 team is a drop for sure. 10 team is a drop.
Yeah, well,
10 team
I
is a drop.
tried to stick with it just to have those reserves. Yeah, but
Yeah, yeah.
I couldn't take it anymore. So yeah, I dropped him already. Anyway, Covington 14 team again, still a hold.
A hold unless your team is strong and then there's a free agency that maybe Alec Burks was suddenly available. I'll do the switch anytime.
Yeah,
I'll pick up Burks. So there are like you can't say there's no must add players in the waiver wire. Like Burks is one. He was available in one of our 14 team leagues, although he was in waiver, but he was still available by the time that the news came out. So there would still be players like that. And if
there'll
there
still
are
be
players like that,
opportunities for
yeah, yeah.
to get players like those.
And I guess when we talk about Covington, it's the same thing with Nerlens Noel.
Yeah.
It's exactly the same thing.
Yeah.
The questions you're asking, I think it's exactly the same thing.
Yeah. And Nerlens is another worry player of ours. And pretty much the same answer. Hold in a
Do you
14.
have
Nope.
Nerlens?
Nope. I don't have any Nerlens.
I have Nerlens. I have one Nerlens, and I'm actually a while ago I wanted to drop him already. 3 rebounds in 18 minutes without steals, without blocks, and then he's gonna be questionable the next game. Might not play again, and then he'll play, and then not play and play. He's also
last season he was like that to start the season. So he's been dropped a lot of times last season.
Do you think he's top 100 this year? I mean now. Now. I mean now. Do you think his ranking now is top 100? At this moment.
No.
He is top 100. And then he'll say, what? And again, the same thing. 1 point.
Because he's had some good
yes
stocks game.
Yes.
He's had some. I've seen some 3 steals, 3 blocks game.
Yes.
He's had some 2 steals, 2 blocks, and those are gold when it comes to rankings, right? Those are a big premium when it comes to ranking.
He's averaging 1.1, I think, steals, 1.2 blocks. But yes, he's prone for those 4 steals, 3 blocks games. He has those kinds of games. But don't be swayed by those games because he has a lot of 0 steals, 0 blocks game also, or 0 steal 1. You just even them out.
Yeah.
Right? When you even out everything, it's just 1 steal and 1 block right? At the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter if he gets 5 steals all at once or do it 1 a game. It's the same thing.
Yeah. So yeah, those are our worry players. Let's talk about some buy players. Emmanuel Quickly and Derrick Rose for the Knicks. Quickly, we've been talking about him for the past few weeks, right? I think if I remember it correctly, he was mentioned in one of the quickies before.
Twice already.
Yeah, I think twice. And Derrick Rose, I've seen some Derrick Rose being dropped.
Because he was injured with the ankle before today's game. If he was dropped, you have to pick him up. Even in 12 team leagues, I think Derrick Rose is an ad. Actually, quickly, I feel like he's trending towards a 12 team league ad, and it's because Kemba is done. But Evan Fournier has not been doing well also. I mean, we've talked about Kemba, but Fournier is also struggling. And Quickly is the guy who was playing better than Fournier.
In fairness, though, to Fournier, he hasn't been as struggling as when he started the season.
Yes,
he's had some good games over the past few games they've had. So,
but I think Quickly is playing better. And in 12 team leagues, I think it's going there. You might want to be early if you're in a 12 team league and add Quickly. Then be my guest because I think the minutes he had 37. Although Barrett went out with an injury today, with an illness, so that's why the minutes were a little inflated. But still, I think he's good for 30, maybe 30 minutes a night. If he gets 30 minutes, I think he could be a 12 team league ad.
So maybe speculative add him already if he's available, and That's the part wherein you ask questions later.
Yes.
Cameron Johnson could be the replacement for Booker in case he misses time. That's an obvious, well, not really an obvious one. Is there anyone else in the
Shamet.
Suns? Yeah, okay. So Landry Shamet could be the other
But
guy, but he hasn't really done much uh, this season.
yeah, not only this season, he hasn't done much in his career.
I mean, before there will be times wherein you can see him at least hit like 3 4 threes in a game. This season is just very quiet with Shamet. So
he can with Booker out, he might get those games, but I'm not gonna add him. Cameron Johnson started the second half, so I would assume that he will be the starter with Booker out. If he's a starter, he today 14 points, 1 steal, 2 blocks, some rebounds, some threes. Overall, I mean low end, but I mean he won't get steals and blocks every game. But I mean the points, the rebounds, and the threes, I think will be there if he starts and gets 29 to 30 minutes, which he did today. If you did not get Cam Johnson, if your league is fast, maybe Cameron Payne, So
yeah,
there, those are the two players that maybe can be considered.
Chimezi
Booker
Metu
out.
played again and played well. So
Yeah,
now, if you're confused, I streamed him for tomorrow's game. They have another game tomorrow, right? Against the Clippers, I think. So let's see. I streamed him tomorrow, and then I'll see what he does tomorrow. Maybe it sticks.
I actually love our FBW daily change league right now. I picked him. I think 10 minutes before the game started, because Justin Holiday, I found out got COVID. I have him in my team, so I put him in injured list. Now I added Metu, and then he exploded. So that feels so good, and you can only do that in the daily change format.
Yeah, I mean the daily today. Actually,
Yeah,
the
that
daily
one.
today is good. The only drawback there is that you can't. You'll be at a disadvantage if there are some teams with less players playing, and then you wanted to add another player, but you can't drop your current player.
Yes.
Right. So
That's
that's
true.
the only drawback. But the advantage on the flip side is that, like that, when a player gets a GTD or an out a few minutes before the game, you can still add a player that you can use for the day, right? And that helps you maybe in a judgment day wherein suddenly a player suddenly becomes out, and you can just make some changes that can help you win that week.
And judgment day, last game, let's say 10 o'clock game, 10:30 or 11 o'clock game, you're still down 2 steals. Let's say, I mean, you can just, maybe you want really to win it. You can make a decision to drop someone just minutes before that 11 o'clock game starts. So there's still a room for adjustment. So I like that. And then I just mentioned
that
it
also
because of
that's also something that can be used, that also makes the finals or the playoffs more exciting, because during the playoffs you wouldn't think of players dropping certain players, right? You would drop certain players who you feel even they won't be droppable during the regular season, but when it comes playoff time, you will drop them.
I don't want it because it makes it harder for us as managers. Like, you can never be at peace, thinking like, okay, we're good. I'm good. I'm up here. I'm up there. And then you all of a sudden at the last minute you say, oh, he added this player and he started him the last minute, and then, oh no, I didn't plan for that. So that makes it harder. I mean, of course, it's challenging, but I just don't like the stress that adds. but if it comes down to that, then that means I had a good season because I reached the playoffs and the finals or the semis or whatever. So I'll take that. All
right.
But
let's go back to
Metu Bagley was out with an illness, I think. By the way, Barnes' injury is sprained foot. It's the same. If you remember, we talked about this last year with CJ McCollum. It's a different thing when you sprain your foot and your ankle. But McCollum's injury last year, there was, I think, bone fragments.
I think he had some broken bones.
Yes. That's why he was out for, I think, a month or 2 months. I don't think Barnes is the same thing, but still, sprained foot is not a simple injury as a sprained ankle. So maybe Barnes will be out for a while. And then there's Harkless, of course. If you were gonna ask me, I would think even if Harkless comes back, Metu should start.
Yep.
But we don't know. It's the Kings. So I don't know. Just Jeremy said,
just add him for for tomorrow, or maybe this week, because I think after tomorrow they have, I think, a day or two break. I forgot. I just checked on the schedule and decided to just add him. Anyway, he's probably going to be one of the better ones in the waiver wire, who is not yet. I mean, probably some of my options were Grant Williams, Metu. I mean, Grant Williams is good so far, but the ceiling is not as high as Metu.
Metu is better, yes.
Yeah, so you just pick him, and probably Grant Williams. No one would really pick Grant Williams, or no one would really go chasing Grant Williams. Just quickly, Otto Porter played another good game, so could be an ad, maybe in deeper, maybe stream him before if there are Golden State games. We talked about Malik Monk and Dwight Howard had a good game today. I made a mistake of adding, I don't know why I did it, DeAndre Jordan over Dwight Howard. But yeah, both those players didn't really have consistent minutes with the Lakers. So I just went with DeAndre because he's been starting and he's been okay with 20 minutes. But today he just played 4 minutes.
He might be, and then they started Dwight already in the second half. So that's why I was saying maybe speculatively add Dwight. Maybe Jordan is out of the rotation altogether, and they would probably just play Dwight Howard going forward. And if that's the case, if Dwight gets 20 minutes, he can be like a Whiteside, right? Maybe like a Whiteside.
I mean, I think maybe better.
Maybe better, yeah,
than Whiteside, because Dwight is more aggressive offensively.
Yes,
Whiteside.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, that's it for buy players. Just feel good. Maybe I'll just pick one. James Harden. Maybe we haven't really talked about James Harden. He's been rolling already. I'm not sure what his ranking is right now, and maybe this goes back to the discussion a while ago about Steph, Jokic, and maybe we can start to include Harden in that because he's slowly moving up to that top 5, top 4 ladder that we were speculating at the early in the season. Your takes on Harden?
That's an interesting point that you mentioned now, that we put Harden in the Jokic Curry conversation.
Yeah, we did, because early in the season we felt like these guys could go 1, 2, 3, right? It's really kind of clear that they'll be 1, 2, 3.
It looks like it's gonna be 1, 2, 3. After everything, it goes back to 1, 2, 3. Maybe not the same order, but they're probably going to be the top 3 players by the end of the. Well, Kevin Durant has something to say about that, so I may have forgotten Durant, but I have there's a chance Harden will rank higher than Durant
because of the counting stats. I think so too. Just because of the averages, I think he'll average more rebounds, he'll average more assists. Overall, right? And if he just gets his shooting a little better, right? I think that's the missing link right now for Harden, the shooting.
That's true.
The field goal, the free throws, he's got it going already. He's been, having some 10 free throw games or even more. So I think he's there already, and maybe lower the turnovers a bit, which I don't think will happen. But yeah, there's
a chance.
Yeah, there's a chance. There's a chance, but yeah, I think overall the averages are going to be higher for Harden if he continues to play like this.
So far, just one last thing about Harden. So far, I have not made the mistake with Harden. When you bet on Harden, usually he delivers. So this year, people were doubting him, but he still delivers. We talked about him. I told you he wasn't in NBA game basketball shape, and I said as the season goes along, don't look at his body. His body is really different now. He's more of as I wrote there, he's probably a big man, point guard on offense, a big man on defense. Like today, he was the guy guarding Julius Randle. So he's unique. He's a unicorn in that sense.
James Harden, our feel-good player of the day. Of course, there are still a lot, and it's all there on our Facebook page. You can check that out. And of course, please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel in case you haven't, just to get the quickies or be notified when we upload the quickie. We'll probably upload the quickie usually Manila time around 11 or 12 p.m. A little late, but yeah, good. Maybe it's something good to start your day for the following day. All right, that's it for today's quickie, and we'll see you again tomorrow. Bye.
Bye.